All right, now that we've looked at how to structure an MLA essay and we understand that we won't ever have more than double spacing in our essays, we'll look at how to compose the individual paragraphs that make up a responding to literature essay. And we'll begin with the introduction. It's very simple, and the structure, HST, hook, stakes, thesis, format, is there for any essay that you'll write in any class. It's always the same. So, hook, stakes, thesis, right, in that order, descending, is a way of getting the reader's attention, giving the background of the essay, and then putting forth your main idea. So as a way to repeat, the hook, or your first overall sentence of an essay, is your attention getter. It's a quote or a question or an eye-popping statistic that you want to use. It's like when you watch your favorite show on Netflix and the first 45 seconds has some blood and gore or something like that, and they want to get you into the episode to finish watching it. You're doing the same thing as a writer here. You're getting the reader's attention so that the reader is invested and wants to continue reading, and it's just a sentence. It's no more than that. Following the hook and transitioning from it, you'll go into your stakes or the context of the essay. And I wrote here generally 4 to 5 sentences which give the background and context of the essay. This is where you put forth a theme or major concepts of the essay so that the reader understands what the essay will be focused on. It is common to mention the names of major works, authors, or sources that are relevant to the major themes of the essay. So, 4 to 5, maybe 6 sentences in the stakes, but again, the point is so that the reader understands what the essay is about. Then finally, your thesis. 1 sentence at the end of your introductory paragraph, and it should be there at the end of the introduction always. It's the best place for it. 1 sentence statement which answers the prompt question. I asked you how Whitby grew, and you're going to answer that here. It is best to understand the thesis as a controlling idea because it guides the flow and content of the information in the body. If you're writing an argument, here's where you put forth your argument at the position. You're not doing that here in this responding to literature class. We're going to start with the Whitby Hall essay or Fuentes Constancia and move on to the Shakespeare essay. But here is where you'll answer the question that I asked you in the prompt. So overall, 6 to 8 sentences. Now, I'm going to give an example of how I might handle this if I'm writing about Constancia. My 1-sentence introduction that I've written out: have you ever missed something beautiful because you weren't open-minded or were too scared? Right? And of course I'm alluding to Whitby's life here. But it's just 1 sentence and the reader's like, oh yeah, I've done that. And then you're going to say, well, this is what happens in Carlos Fuentes' story, Constancia. It's really important. We transition into this sentence. The question leads to this. And now it gives me a chance to say that, okay, we're dealing with this writer. His name is Carlos Fuentes. His story, Constancia. Then I follow it with the narrator, Whitby Hull, is a white American whose privilege and focus on the past prevents him from fully loving his wife, Constancia. Give a little background on the story. It's really all the summary you need, to be honest. Unable to see the trauma that formed the lives of Constancia and his neighbor Plotnikov, Whitby's life stagnates. The result is he suffers tremendous loss and grief. So this is the background. We're going to be talking about Fuentes' story, Constancia. We're going to talk about the narrator. We're going to talk about his privilege and his focus on the past. We're going to talk about how he fails to grow in many ways until the very end, right? And as a thesis, just to answer the question that I asked you, I say, how does Whitby grow? And my answer is he grows through suffering, right? So it is through this suffering that Whitby finally grows. And this particular sentence guides the rest of the paragraphs. I mean, to some degree, in all of the body paragraphs, you'll be talking about the way that Whitby grows through his suffering. And it might be about focusing on the loss of Constancia. It might be focusing on the death of Plotnikov. It might be focusing on his inability to use his library and his books to understand reality, and that kind of creates this kind of cognitive dissonance with him, right, where he's just confused, like, wait, I thought life was supposed to be this way, and it's not, and so I need to change. You know, I'm a heart surgeon, but I don't have heart, and I need to grow. And he does, right? And this allows you, this sentence, to talk about that in the various body paragraphs. I'll point out you don't need to have a list here. It doesn't have to be like Whitby grows through X, Y, and Z. I'd prefer you didn't do that. I'd prefer that you just get into the paragraphs and start focusing on the individual ways that he grows on your own. All right, so that's it for your introduction. Obviously, very straightforward. As always, if you have questions about anything, you can just ask me or send me a draft of your introduction, and I'll write back with some comments. Look forward to working with you. And soon we'll be on to how to do body paragraphs.